Cubicle Crashers, welcome to another episode of Screw the Cubicle TV. I'm Lydia Lee, the business creator coach and freedom instigator at Screw the Cubicle, and this channel is all about how to quit your job, create a business that plays up to your strengths and your passions, and create a life and business on your own terms. So today I want to talk a little bit about a question that keeps being asked around my Facebook group, The Unconventionalists, and it's also a big question that a lot of my customers ask, and I'm sure this will be one that you are probably having a question around as well, which is how do I build an email list? How do I build a following so that I can start to nurture people that I want to work with and build relationships with them, and eventually being someone that they buy something from, right? Something of value that I'm offering in exchange for their money. So that's where when you know you're in business, right? So one of the key things to realize about your customers is that it takes a bit of time of building a relationship with them for them to be able to trust you, to know that you have authority in the topic that you're specializing in, and really at the end of the day, like you, right? That's just a common human thing of why people are attracted to different people, is that there's a likability factor, there's a connection, there's shared common values that they'll share with you. So it takes you to be having an online presence, it takes you to be in front of them as often as possible to eventually lead them down the journey of needing your help and buying something that you've created. So the first thing is, why do you want to build credibility and authority? Well, as I mentioned, the big thing here is trust. People need to know that you are an expert in a particular topic before they start to put their money where their mouth is and get your help. They could be finding anybody else. So why should they trust you? What are you willing to give them and share with them and help them on in the beginning so that you can convert them into paying customers? And nowadays, when people buy anything online or follow anyone online, they want to build a relationship first. They want to know a little bit about you as a human, not just what you're selling, but really know what's behind your business, your purpose, your why, and your story behind what has caused you to create this business that you love and that you call your own. So that is also going to be part and parcel of the experience that your customers need to have before they start to convert into paying customers. So giving value is really one of the most important things to start with as a business owner, and especially in a service-based people-to-people business. And if you're like me in the sort of coaching, consulting, any sort of service-based where you're working with people, this is where you want to stand strong to start with. So giving value to lead people into your email list. You can't just really go, give me your email, I have nothing for you right now, trust me, I'm not going to sell you anything. That ain't going to happen, right? So you've got to be giving value ahead of time so that you can enroll them into your home, which is your email list, where you can start to nurture that relationship with them going forward. So one of the first things that you can start thinking about is, what can you create as kind of an opt-in? So what is the kind of initial freebie, or what some people in the industry could call a lead magnet, to draw people to be interested in your work? And what is something free that you can give away that solves a very urgent beginning problem in the first stage of your business? The first stage of the problem of your customer. So think about your business, what it solves, what problem it solves, and then think about, let's say, the first initial step that your customer needs to get over or learn or achieve or be aware of in order to kind of get them into step two. So what is that first step, beginning step, that you can give away? So maybe it could be an assessment, it could be a checklist, it could be a small ebook, it might even be a video training, that's going to answer an urgent problem that they're right now experiencing at the beginning part of their journey, so that they're going to look at that opt-in or freebie and go, wow, that's an amazing value, and that's exactly the thing that I'm suffering with at this very moment. It's not going to solve all their problems, but it's going to solve this initial stage of problems that they have. So start thinking about that to build in this value-added freebie or opt-in that you can offer to get people into your email list, where they have to subscribe in order to get this freebie. And then you can put them into an email nurturing sequence to lead them, to give them extra value, but potentially leading them to buy something that's related to that opt-in value. And you could also look at giving free advice, right? Information and advice. So in your opt-in, it really is about free information and advice, but you could also do it an addition to your opt-in where you're offering consistent advice often. So that could be in a form of your Facebook pages, maybe as a group that you might run. It might be that you're a Twitter person and you're always tweeting out great advice, or maybe you're running interviews with experts, or even yourself giving video expert advice, just like I'm doing with Screw the Cubicle TV, to offer that sort of information where people can subscribe again to be able to get access to your recurring advice that you may want to be giving out on a weekly basis or even a daily basis. So start thinking about how you want to show up in your online presence, right? Visibility is such a big thing for your business, especially if you want to play online. So people need to see you, they need to hear you, they need to read about you. So think about your personality. So if you're not a great speaker, you don't like being on video, don't start by creating a YouTube channel. You don't need to do periscopes and you don't need to do webinars in order to succeed online. I know that everybody's doing all different things and they all work, but you will want to do something that you feel good doing so that you'll actually do it. So if you're doing something that is feeling like you're pulling teeth or it's not in your natural zone of genius, guess what's going to happen every week? You're going to do everything to avoid showing up in your business, right? So don't do the things that you don't feel like doing. Start with your comfort zone, right? Start with the zone that you feel most natural in the way that you communicate. Of course, you'll step a bit out of your comfort zone because everything will be new to you when you first start. But at least the way of communication, the way of delivery of your advice, your information, your tips, right? Your value, that's going to be in your natural zone. So if you're better at talking, you know that you influence better when people can see your face. One of the things that you could do is a YouTube channel to start as kind of one thing that people can subscribe to, right? You could also do perhaps periscopes that you can do live broadcasts every week and get people to join you on a Q&A or on a particular topic that you want to give advice about that isn't too long, right? It could be 15 minutes to half an hour, depending on how long your audience wants to stay with you. Now, if you're a writer, you're someone that writes better, you can explain your thoughts in a much more structured way, and you like that about yourself, well, write more blogs. Submit more articles, right? Go online and find out publications, whether it's Huffington Post or Forbes or Elephant Journal, whatever publication that's related to your type of people and your business. That's where you want to submit as many articles as you can to get published, and you can lead people into your website, into downloading the opt-in that we talked about by having some press, right? By having your work being put out there. You can also start blogging on medium.com, which is a free blog site that's ran by Twitter, and you'll have access to tons of people there that could read the types of topics that you might write about. So you don't even need a website to start writing. You can write on a place like Medium just to get the word out, just to get your information and advice out and people to find you initially. And if you're someone that is a great kind of facilitator, you're a great kind of maestro of an experience, you may consider running your own Facebook group. Or you may want to create a meetup, a physical meetup or a virtual meetup, where you facilitate perhaps experts coming in to help you out to convey a particular message that's part of your business, or you're the one that's running a group where you're helping people maintain action towards something, or having them empowered or supported or inspired on a weekly basis, where you come up with the themes of the days and you come up with topics and conversations that you want to have with kind of an isolated group that is coming in for this right reason. So all these things work, and all these things are great ways to be visible, to build your list. But again, as I mentioned, make sure to do the type of style and the way of influence and the way of delivery that feels good for you. Don't try to be like anyone else, because you're going to end up looking really inauthentic and unnatural in that sort of delivery if it's really not the thing you want to start with. And my advice also is to pick one or two types of places to show authority and online presence to start, right? So you could have a blog, which is pretty common for most businesses to start with, and then just pick one other channel or platform, whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's running webinars, whether it's periscopes, or your Facebook group, but choose just another one just to start, so that you don't get overwhelmed with trying to maintain and test out the different platforms that you've already decided on before moving on to the next one, right? And that's going to give you a really, really good, clear direction. Let's say you test it out for 3 months, see how you like it, see if you are building your email list from those platforms, and then if you're not, you can always move on to the next one. Okay, so building an audience that's really warmed up and interested in your work kind of prior to selling them anything is always a great idea because you're building your tribe, you're building your community of people trusting you and liking your work. And they're really already saying they like you. So when you are ready to produce a product or a service where you want to sell to these people, they've already been given so much value and part of that community or part of that thing that you do consistently so much that when you do offer something to help them, it would lead them there really quickly. They're not going to feel sold to. They're not going to feel like, oh, where did this come from? I don't know. I don't need that, because you're going to know that's what they need from being in these conversations with them on a regular basis. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you to start churning some ideas about how you can build your email list and create your authority in your business and have an online presence so that you can start spreading your message, building your audience, and impacting with your work a lot more often. Okay, thanks for joining me for this episode of Screw the Cubicle TV, and I will see you on the next one. See you later. Hey, thank you so very much for watching Screw the Cubicle TV, and don't forget to subscribe below to get all the latest cubicle crashing content on how to quit your 9-to-5 and create a life and business on your own terms.